Howdy folks, and welcome back to Making a Psyduck of Every Type, the show where we redesign Psyduck with different types, inspirations, ideas, universes, anything really. So this is episode 5 of our series so far. You're free to check out the previous 4 episodes if you want to get caught up. In those episodes we've made a Psyduck from grass type, fire type, water type obviously, ground type, poison type, bug type, dragon type, steel type, psychic type, normal type, flying type, kinda fairy type, ghost type, bird type, and unknown type. That list is going to get longer and longer with each episode, yeesh. But either way, if you want to check out the playlist, you're free to. If not, let's get on to designing our next Psyduck. To the drawing board! So this concept is pretty easy to explain. Ice cream. This is one of the earliest ideas I had when thinking of a Psyduck for every type, and that's the idea of a Psyduck having, instead of a headache, it has brain freeze because of ice cream. And then, the more I thought about it, the more I was kind of thinking, what if its head itself was the ice cream? Because then I was thinking maybe the beak could be more like a wafer, so its head looks like a dropped ice cream or something. The concept and idea didn't really go beyond that, it was just more of a ice cream Psyduck. What more do you need? So when designing this Psyduck, I also like the idea of maybe giving it a dunce hat in the form of an ice cream cone. For those who don't know, a dunce hat is an old-fashioned thing, I believe, where basically in school, if you was a stupid kid, your teacher would make you wear it and sit in the back of the class so everyone knows that you was a stupid kid. I honestly have no idea how true that is. I'm chatting utter waffle right now. Google it if you want to find out what a real dunce hat is. At least that's my knowledge of it. We're very professional here at Lewiside. So yeah, I like the idea that giving it a dunce hat, because, Psyduck's typically meant to be shown to be quite idiotic, at least in the anime, and it also gives the impression that its head, with its wafer beak and ice cream cone dunce hat, its head looks like a dropped ice cream cone. Which, is, fun imagery. To me, Psyduck's always had that sympathetic quality to his design, and what's more sympathetic than a dropped ice cream cone? I also like the idea that instead of Psyduck holding its head because it's got a paining headache, it's holding its head trying to keep its head up because its head is melting ice cream, so it's trying to keep itself upright by literally holding its head up. And I made the rest of its skin colour a lot more paler because it's meant to be cold, it's meant to look very cold and almost frostbitten. It's a little bit morbid thinking back, but I think it contrasts between the bright pink and the yellows quite well, so I could have done worse. Don't sing that part.
When eating something cold, the sudden drop in temperature causes the blood vessels in your head to expand to let more blood in. The rush of all that extra blood going through your brain triggers specific pain receptors, which obviously causes pain. That pain specifically is what we'd call a brain freeze. So I guess that means this Psyduck always has blood rushing through its head. Maybe that's why the rest of its body is so pale. Gross.
So there you have it, the Ice Cream Psyduck. I really like how this guy turned out. I like his cute little pose, his sad little melty face. I like how his wafer looks a bit, soggy, a bit... That sounds a bit weird actually, doesn't it? So that checks ice off of our list of making a Psyduck of every type. Although it could be sugar type as well. That is if I was including a Psyduck type. For those who don't know, a fair bit ago I started a series called Psyduckmon, which was my take on essentially slightly more original Fakemon. It was meant to be more, instead of just adding to Pokemon, it was meant to be like the beginning of its own original thing, and in doing so I made an entire new type chart, because again, it wasn't meant to be Pokemon, it was meant to be its own thing. So it included altered and fully unique types, like wind, plant, mineral, magic, sugar, as I previously mentioned, and arguably the most popular new type I added, Pixel. The Pixel type was essentially my answer to the manufactured type. In this Psyduckmon region, there was meant to be a cyber city. If you know Digimon, it's basically like Digimon, the idea of jumping into a digital world, and all the creatures in that digital world were specifically Pixel type. They're constructed to specifically serve a purpose in that digital world, right? So Pixie-Cotto is basically a sentient advertisement to advertise products. Pidgeal is a sentient email device, what sends letters to and back from the cyber city, and Sent to Many is basically the sentient message. Now, I'm sure you've noticed the big thing about the Pixel type is compared to other Psyduckmon, the Pixel type are specifically in a pixel art style. And although I have experimented with making pseudo-stylized Psyducks, trying to harken back to the Game Boy-esque art style with 2 Psyduck designs you can check out in the previous episode, I suppose it'd be fun to give it a proper delve and make a Pixel-type Psyduck. Wow, so that was just explaining the Pixel-type idea. Now we need to get onto the design itself. Now, I won't go too deep into it here because it's meant to be a family-safe channel, but ducks like to reproduce, and they can be relatively aggressive in doing so. So the obvious connection to me in making a pixel duck is to make it somewhat virus-inspired, because similar to like a virus, again, reproducing aggressively, you know. And when doing research on computer viruses, I learned about the brain virus. Again, brain, headache, Psyduck, another connection, you'll love to see it. Now, the brain virus, I believe, was actually one of the earliest, or the first, ever computer virus. From what I read, two brothers made some heart monitoring software. However, they was annoyed that other people were kind of like pirating it for free, so they simply made a virus to catch it off, so if it was meant to be like an illegal copy, it would slow your computer down. I do reiterate, unlike Cesari, I am an idiot, so feel free to do your own research and let me know if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's at least the gist of it. And the idea of people being angry that people are copying their software, their creation for free, got me thinking about Mickey Mouse. It entered the public domain at the start of this year, and oh my gosh, for like the first month, nobody would shut up about it. In fact, I literally just cut 6 minutes of myself rambling about the whole debacle, so we're just gonna leave it there and just mention that I had some of that inspiration into this design. So I guess the whole point is, because it's a pixel type, it was created by a company to spread happiness and joy. However, because it's a duck and it reproduces so much, other people started to use it, and this corporation was like, no, only we can use it to create fun times. If you use it, it's illegal. So they programmed the pixel duck to corrupt itself unless it was specifically created by the corporation. So this pixel type Psyduck basically corrupts itself on birth because it wasn't one created by the corporation, if that makes sense. Similar to how Disney would act in this scenario, and similar to how the brain virus works. Plus, the old animation style Mickey Mouse was created in is called the rubber hose style, rubber hose, rubber duck. It's an easy connection to make. I was thinking of doing like Steamboat Willie Psyduck, however, again, I feel like anything to do with Steamboat Willie has already been done 100 times to death. So I kind of like doing this. I feel like this is a very unique way of having that connection there. I also liked how I gave it a very rubber hose neck, just to draw that parallel, and I even gave it Mickey Mouse-like buttons. I guess the idea is that that rubber hose neck is filled with the malicious code to corrupt itself. That's why it's meant to be all squiggly and craggly. And I also liked how I gave the body a bit more of a pear shape, just as another little reference to how Mickey Mouse's body is. This is the pixel-type Psyduck, a virus what corrupts itself on birth, because it's programmed to do that unless it was specifically created by the corporation. I'm pretty sure there's a better word for that, I can't think of it right now. Oops. I do really like it, and I hope you all did too. I did receive some comments about asking for a pixel type or something like that, so I hope this is to your liking, and see, it's proof. I read comments, so you should definitely comment, because I'll definitely read it. Well, that one was a doozy. Let's jump on to the third one. Put it simply, Pikmin. I could literally talk to you for hours about how Pikmin is amazing. Hashtag not sponsored, but if you have a Switch and are looking for a brand new game to play this summer, I cannot recommend a game like Pikmin enough. You can get all 4 games on Switch, and all 4 games are so unique yet unified, it's incredible. I recommend playing the 4th game first though, because it's kind of like a soft reboot, and it is arguably the best game. There's a free demo on your Switch. If you've got a Switch and you're looking for something new, there's no excuse to not try it.
Do it now, and if you do, let me know how you think. Oh, I obviously know you're gonna love it.
Pikmin, it's great, I love it.
I really like Pikmin, if you can't tell. So I thought, if we're looking into the Pikmin multiverse, let's do a Psyduck Pikmin. Let's get weird with it, you know? So for those who don't know Pikmin, the essential gist is you have an army of little minions called Pikmin, and each minion's in a different colour, and they're adorable, and you should definitely play Pikmin 4, by the way. I wasn't joking when I said you get the demo, you should really get it now. Do it now, download it right now. But anyway, so the Pikmin come in different shapes and sizes, and they've all got unique abilities, the red one being immune to fire, the blue one being able to survive in water, yellow electricity, and so on. The main game, it calls it Dandori. It's the act of basically doing all your tasks as efficiently as possible. So, you need to look at a task, realise how many types of specific Pikmin do I need? Do I need reds and blues, or do I need reds and purples? Purples would be slower but more powerful, whites would be weaker but more quicker. And again, there's a lot of on-the-fly decisions you need to make. It's just a really good game. I wasn't joking when I said I wasn't joking. Sorry, I don't get to talk about Pikmin a lot, so when I do, I get into it. So, being a Psyduck Pikmin, I guess the idea is, in the Pikmin world, there could be like psychic fields or something, the other Pikmin get brainwashed or gives the Pikmin headaches. However, because the Psyduck Pikmin already has headaches, it can actually go through those fields, unscathed. That's how a Psyduck Pikmin would work in a Pikmin game, but obviously in a Pokemon scenario, I think it would just be a cute little Psyduck alien boy. I mean, look at it! Really short and simple. Here is the Psyduck Pikmin. I weirdly find it adorable. Am I the only one? Feel free to let me know. So, you know when I said we'll get weird with this one? Well, now we're going to get really weird with this one. We are going to make another Psyduck using a brand new type, the Neuron type. You might have noticed my good friend Saziri before, and the other day I was just talking to her about unique Psyduck ideas. And we were both discussing how interesting it would be if we designed a Psyduck for a Pokemon game, what was meant to be designed around microbiology, where the entire Pokemon game was based off the micro-organic world. Instead of having Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle based off reptilian creatures, they'd be based off, let's say, blood cells. And we were just thinking how weird and unique each monster design would look like if they were specifically based on different microorganisms. Hence, the Neuron type for Psyduck. Now, I did get Saziri to help me out here. She did write me a list of things so I don't sound like an absolute idiot, so the neuron. So for those who don't know, the neurons are basically the nerve cells that send messages to our body from our brain. That time you picked your nose when you were 7, that was a neuron doing that. They also look like this. I want to pop a diagram up there, so credit to the original person who drew that. Yeah, they look weird, and basing a Psyduck off of that is going to be fun. You are going to notice, basically for the first 30 minutes of designing this, I really struggled to draw a dendrite, the weird spiky things at the top. Now, according to what Saziri wrote, the dendrites receive synaptic inputs from axons. So in short, I've got no idea what a dendrite does. I'm a designer, not a smart person. I'll keep the diagram in the top corner actually, just so you can see what I'm trying to talk about. So obviously, Psyduck's whole gimmick is that it's, headaches. So I was kind of curious, is there any correlation between the neurons and receiving headaches? Obviously, the neurons are what the brain is made out of, what gives the brain headaches. It's not actually neurons. When doing research, I learned that neurons themselves can't actually feel pain. The ache from a headache comes from other nerves. And when I read that it came from other nerves, my immediate thought was, again, if this is meant to be a Pokemon game based off microbiology, other nerves would just be other Pokemon designs. So a headache would come from other Pokemon beating up this Neuron Psyduck, right? Because again, it's not the Neuron Psyduck causing the headache, it's the other nerves beating it up causing the headache, right? I'm not saying that's what literally happens when you have a headache, but again, being somewhat fantastical with this. And also, after reading that neurons can't actually heal themselves, this idea of a beaten up neuron, because it's like a punching bag neuron, or gets beaten up by all the other microbiology Pokemon creatures, I thought that'd be the fun design. I like the idea of using the myelin sheaths, those little green blob things, and I like the idea that this neuron design reuses those to look like bandages, so not specifically to heal itself, but just to cover its wounds up, because it gets beaten up and it can't heal up. And I also like the idea that I made its feet look like axon terminals. Neurons, obviously, they don't actually move, they're stable in your brain. So having a design like Psyduck, I like the idea that maybe its feet are more like roots, like a tree root, because the axon terminals kind of look like roots anyway. So the idea that it digs itself in so it doesn't move, but obviously that just makes it an easier target to literally be a punching bag, will literally bubbles back up. Almost like a microbiology wob effect. Another little touch, because I gave it a bandage to the one eye, the other eye is meant to represent the nucleus, which I thought was a cute little touch. And I also didn't really realise till near the end, but I didn't actually give it any arms. And I kind of thought it'd be fun that because it's meant to be this weird microbiology blob-like creature anyway, I like the idea that maybe it only has one arm which just kind of floats around its body and it can send it off if it wants to attack anyway. So yeah, neurons. Kind of wish Saziri's fun facts would come up and help explain what the hell this is meant to be, but this is the Neuron type Psyduck, the microbiology celled Psyduck thing. Isn't it weird? I actually really like how this turned out. I like the effects and the colours and the way it just turns out. I'm very happy with its design. You'll have to let me know what you think, and you'll have to let me know if you liked the idea of a microbiology Pokemon world. I think the idea of that is really fun. I'll have to do something similar like that in the future. But either way, folks, let's move on to our last, but certainly not our least. The what? Just let's start drawing the fifth one. So the idea for this one was quite simple. I have created a few monster designs based around the idea of tea. I've had a tea elephant, a tea camel. So Saziri just mentioned, why not make a tea Psyduck or a Psyduck? So that's basically it. Then I also like the idea of the Psyduck's head being the mug with hot tea in itself, so its head is literally a glass of chai or something. I thought that was really fun. And I suppose a good metaphor for the idea that it's literally got so much caffeine in its head, it's literally rattling like a, because the pottery or what creates a mug, it rattles. So just a little, I say it's a chai duck. What's in its head could be, coffee, tea, anything like that. I mean, to be fair, both of them have a fair amount of caffeine in it, so this is meant to be the reason it's got a headache is because it's always on that caffeine rush, which I just thought, it's just a kind of cute idea.
Assuming the average Psyduck is about 31 inches big, that would make its head about 12. Assuming 2 of those inches is to form the outside of the head itself, and that its head is mostly hollow to allow the chai to rest inside it. After some quick calculations, I reckon that this Psyduck could carry around 12 liters of tea in its head. That's about 980 milligrams of caffeine. That amount of caffeine would cause constant anxiety and jitterness, incredibly rapid heart rate, extreme dehydration, constant insomnia, and obviously headaches. How is this thing still alive?
Kind of wish you popped in back when I was embarrassing myself trying to explain what a neuron is, but better late than never, I suppose. Thank you, Saziri, I guess. So either way, this is the chai duck. I don't even know what type I'd make this. I guess water and fire, because what else is tea if not just that? But either way, you'll have to let me know what you think of this one. I really like how he turned out. I didn't realise how much its head looked like Cuphead or Mugman until I'm looking at it now, but yeah, I still like it. I hope you do too, and I hope you like all of these designs. I really liked how all of these designs turned out, actually. It's a very weirdly themed episode. It was very kind of weird, sciencey, head-themed. I guess it's always head-themed, Psyduck. But either way, folks, I've rambled for way too long, as per usual. You'll have to let me know what your favourite Psyduck type is, and what types you're looking forward to seeing in the next episode. I think we've still got fighting and rock and maybe electric type left. I'm not sure if I'm going to make the pixel Psyduck part electric, so I'm not sure if that's going to count or not. But either way, folks, let me know what you're excited to see next, and if not, just message me anything in general. I want comments, please. I need engagement. But either way, folks, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in a bit. Toodaloo. Bye.